Alongside the upcoming Contingency Contract 5 event is the 4th Joint Operations banner. These special banners are unique in their pool of operators. Rather than having a few focus characters with the rate up and a low rate on everyone else, Joint Operations only have the rate up operators. That is, you cannot acquire anyone outside of the selected 5 and 6 stars. 4 and 3 stars are available as normal. The counterbalance is having twice the number of focus operators compared to a standard banner. In Joint Operations 4, the focus 6 stars are Thorns, Weedy, Suzuran, and Nightingale. And for the 5 stars, we have Andriana, Elysium, Franca, Leonhardt, Nerl, and Silence. So, should you pull on this banner? Well, the answer is a bit more complicated than simply assessing the power of these units. Before I go into more detail, the 5 stars, don't bother. It's generally not recommended to pull for 5 stars only. However, Joint Operations are the worst for 5 stars because the odds are split amongst too many units. There are a few great ones here, but it's not worth it just for them. Now, the 6 stars on the other hand, Joint Operations are amongst the best banners. However, that depends on how many of these 6 stars you already have. This also means the value diminishes with each successful pull. There is an equal 25% chance of pulling any of these when you get a 6 star. So if you already own, say, Weedy, as I do on my alt account, that means there is a 75% chance of getting someone new, which is still good odds. Having 2 of them already puts you at a 50-50, which is still okay, but you are gambling, though it's alright if you need duplicates as well. If you only want one specific operator, then the odds are too low and likely not worth it. Of course, it's not worth pulling, no matter the odds, if the units aren't good to begin with. So let's take a closer look at this quartet. If you are already familiar with these units and just want the important details to consider, such as unit availability and schedules, click the timestamp in the description or skip to the time written on screen for that section. I want to start with Suzera, a character I started the game with. She is a slowing debuffer and the best of her type in Arknights. With each attack, she slows the enemy and inflicts Fragile, a debuff that increases damage taken by 20%. Her second skill turns her basic attack into a multi-target attack, which is useful in situations. The charge time is long, though keep in mind that her passive increases skill recharge of supporter units, and this skill has an unlimited duration once activated. The main reason to pull Suzuran is for her third skill, Boxfire Haze, which sends her into the Avatar state. Depending on her skill mastery, for up to 35 seconds she will expand her range, slowing all enemies, up to doubling the effect of Fragile on all slowed enemies, and healing allies. This is a powerful skill. Combined with AoE units such as Iapyala, enemies will melt away in her vicinity. Suzu may be small, but she's not to be underestimated. The only reason not to want Suzu is if you already have Angelina, as there is some overlap. Suzuran is better, yet not so much that it's worth going out of your way to replace her. Next, we meet Weedy, the Blastoise Enthusiast. She is a pusher specialist of colossal pressure. Her first skill is the typical knockback on next attack of her archetype. Her second skill is similar to Suzuran's with a long charge time and unlimited duration, providing increased range and damage. Also like Suzu, her third is the defining skill. Channeling her favorite Pokemon, she fires her water cannon to deal AoE damage and massive knockback. Enemies will take more damage the further they fly, and her water gun turret will amplify the skill if active in tandem for an even crazier effect. This skill is made for highlight reels. Following her, we have Nightingale, a recent acquisition of mine from recruitment, link in the description if you want that video. She is a buffing AoE healer, most known for her ability to enhance resistance of allies. Of the 6 stars here, she is the least desirable. Now, that does not mean she's bad. She's simply the least best of the bunch. Unlike the others, she has her own strengths, notably that resistance buffing, which, when needed, is a game changer. Any challenge laden with arts damage is made significantly easier with Nightingale in your squad. She passively provides resistance, and her third skill, the one you want her for, massively buffs resistance and provides dodge against arts damage. She can single-handedly turn the tide of an arts assault. Now we arrive at Thorns, the morose sea urchin. I saved the best and my favourite for last. He's a range guard used in opposition to Silverash. Where Silverash is all about dropping him in for that burst skill and then retreating, Thorns sits in lane and holds, while killing everything that comes at him. His attacks deal both physical and arts damage, and he strikes both ground and air units. His third skill increases damage, attack speed, and the width of his attack range into that of a standard sniper. The effect is permanent on second activation. He is sustained mixed damage instead of burst, and he regenerates when out of combat, enabling him to stand by himself when needed, which is as he wants it to be. He has a thorny personality. Thorns is the strongest of these four, and one of the strongest in Arknights. Of course, each of these operators are great and play different roles, so the best for you will be whatever you need most of. To sum up these operators, they're a fantastic pull and overall make up the best set in a joint operations banner so far. So, should you pull? If you have none of these four, I can strongly recommend pulling until the first 6-star. If you have one or more already, the answer gets a little complicated. If you already have Thorns, then even the 75% odds of someone else may not be worth it because you already have the best. On the other side, if you only have Nightingale, then 75% is much more appealing. I personally wouldn't pull without wanting at least 3 of the 4 operators. Then again, I'm not a gambler, I'm not a risk taker. But wait, who would you like to pull, ideally, if you could choose one? If it's Suzuran, then be aware that she has a solo banner rerun when her event returns in about a month. Solo banner has 50% odds of pulling the focus unit, which is better odds than the joint operations for that one unit. However, if that 50% doesn't land, then you have no idea what you'll get instead, which is likely worse than the joint operations possibilities. If you want Thorns, then be aware that he too has a solo banner rerun in about 2 to 3 months, following the summer anniversary event. Meanwhile, Weedy has no planned upcoming banners, whereas Nightingale is available through recruitment and occasionally in the gold certificate store. Suzu, Weedy, and Thorns aren't recruitable and are a long ways off from debuting in the gold store. Speaking of the summer banner containing limited operator Chen, now here is a water gun in an oil fire. As good as the joint ops banner is, even if you want all 4 operators, you may need to skip it just to save if you want that limited unit in case of bad luck. It doesn't take that many pulls on average to get 1 6-star, so if you have a little orundum to spare, you can go for that first 6-star and save the rest. It all depends on how much risk you're willing to take with that limited. This is where that later Thorns solo banner is a blessing, because you can pull for him after you've secured your summer Chen. That was my plan until I bought him using the 6-star selector ticket, video of that below as well if you're interested. I knew that within my orundum budget, I wouldn't have enough spare to pull for him unless lucky on the limited banners. I wasn't willing to take the risk, waiting to find out my luck when the ticket wouldn't be around by then. The announcement of Saleh, who I want to get at release for maximum odds a month after the summer event, also lowered my spare budget. And I never planned on pulling in the joint operations either when I already had 2 of the units. Now, I'm fortunate enough to have all 4 thanks to a lucky recruitment. So, to wrap up this overly comprehensive should you pull, keep the following points in mind. Joint operations are the best value banners if you want all 4 featured operators. The value diminishes greatly with each featured operator you already own. If, deep down, you know you'll be disappointed unless you get that one specific unit of the 4, then don't pull. The exception might be Weedy, as she has no solo banner, she was released with W in a limited event, and the 25% odds of pulling her here is the same as when she appears in a standard banner. Suzuran has a solo banner in about a month, while Thorns has one in 2 to 3 months. Nightingale can be recruited and found in the gold certificate store. Weedy, Suzuran, and Thorns are some ways off from the gold store or recruitment. The next 6-star recruitment ticket is around 6 months away if you are factoring that to secure an operator of choice. As always, if you simply like the character, then your heart will decide. I hope you found this guide and advice useful. If you are going to pull, I wish you the best of luck. If not, then do comment what you are saving for instead. If you are undecided or have any questions, then please do leave a comment and I will respond to help you if I can. Please share this video with anyone who may find it useful, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. See you soon in the next one.